I'm ready.
Hello, Roomies.
And welcome back.
To Read the Room,
A Culture Club.
A podcast by
Alexys.
Kaylin.
and Larsen.
Today, our episode is another one of our book club deep dive episodes, and it's for our June book, The Count of Monte Cristo.
Yes. And man, he's a chonker, isn't he?
Yeah, I had the thought earlier today, unfortunately, where I was like, we should have given 2 months for this book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? As the listener, you could download this and listen anytime your heart desires.
Mhm.
Unfortunately for us, that wasn't that's not an option.
Next time we choose a 1,200-page book, we'll do it over 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe a part 1 and a part 2 would be
Yes.
justifiable.
But you know what? I don't think we'll have another Count of Monte Cristo in our lives for a while at least.
You don't want to do it again?
You know, I don't know how many more tomes in the year 2026 I can handle.
Yeah, fair.
I think it was in our Harlequin / bodice rippers episode, Kaylin, where you actually said like I can only have like max 1 Count of Monte Cristo a year.
Yes.
And even that is ambitious.
I did see somebody say that this book is longer than the Lord of the Rings trilogy combined.
Yeah.
So that's kind of, if you are not aware of the size of this tome, that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, which like is a crazy statement, but then also the Lord of the Rings books are a lot shorter than you think they are.
Yes.
They're just also very dense.
Yes, yeah.
No, that makes me think of like the first time that I also encountered the Count of Monte Cristo, which was at the same time as Kaylin in high school, and it was an abridged copy, and that stood out to me because it was the first time that I'd ever read something that was abridged. Like I don't even think I knew what abridged meant until the Count of Monte Cristo got assigned.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh, there are some books that are so fucking long that they give you special editions.
Yeah.
That are slimmed down.
And isn't the abridged copy you have still like 500, 600 pages?
Oh, yeah. It's at least 600 pages. And I ended up also getting the audiobook through Libby because it was available and I knew I was in a time crunch. And that was
like 47 hours long.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it's 42. And then something I was looking at, and I didn't fact check this, so they could have misspoken. Somebody said the Audible audiobook is 52 hours.
Wow.
I don't think the version I listened to was abridged. So are they just like
Well, it's probably
adding some extra
Yeah.
spaces and sultry moments?
If it's like an Audible original type one,
Yeah.
it is usually more of a production than just your.
You got some sound effects.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The coconuts of him clacking down the road.
I was gonna say, yeah, you have to hear him like digging through
Yeah.
the chateau.
His Shawshank moment.
Yeah.
To really get the vibes, you have to have at least 8 hours of the audiobook be purely digging and tapping.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Make you feel like you're in prison.
Yeah. Well, you've gotten a little taste of what's to come.
Yes.
But Alexandre Dumas, the
Yeah.
author of The Count of Monte Cristo, he's also the author of The Three Musketeers and Man in the Iron Mask. Have you guys read either of those?
I have not, but I've watched the movie Man in the Iron Mask that I'm pretty sure stars Leonardo DiCaprio.
It does. It does.
Yeah. Haven't watched that in probably 20 years, but I did watch it.
And there is actually controversy around whether Alexandre Dumas wrote this book himself. There's a person, Auguste Moquette. I don't know Moquet. Sorry, French names.
It's all really French.
Yeah, we're gonna do some really atrocious pronunciations today.
I think we'll be okay.
Oh, I was gonna say I might also throw in a wildly offensive French or Italian accent every now and then. So.
Oh, okay. Well, Auguste Moquette or Moquet.
Yeah.
He's supposedly a co-author on this book and a number of other of Dumas' writings.
Yes.
And there was actually like a legal trial, after their a decades or more long
partnership,
author love affair.
Yeah.
And the law sided with Dumas. So it might be lost to history, but some people do say that he was a co-author.
Yeah, I had actually seen that he kind of did more of like theoretically, because I don't think any of us know exactly what happened, that he kind of did more of like bare bones and kind of like feeding ideas, and then Dumas did a lot of the polishing and all the red string and that kind of.
Yeah, I did see a quote when looking this up that somebody said that without Maquet, there would still be Dumas, but without Dumas, there would be no Maquet.
Interesting. Okay.
So who knows? Who knows? But more about Dumas. His father was born in Haiti to a French nobleman and an enslaved Afro-Caribbean woman who was bought to be his concubine. So Dumas himself is of mixed race descent. Dumas' grandfather decided to return to France, and so he brought Dumas' father with him, but decided to sell his concubine / wife and the other children they had.
Wow.
Supposedly. He brought Dumas' father back to France. He was given an education, and then at some point we do get Dumas himself.
Yeah.
But before we get Dumas, his father actually was a very successful Bonapartist and was a general for Napoleon until he was imprisoned in Egypt. And then they tried really hard to work with Napoleon to get him out. And by that time, I guess he had fallen out of favor or something. When he was finally released from prison after Napoleon fell, he was disabled, couldn't work, kind of led to the family overall falling out of favor, not having a lot of money, him moving in with Dumas himself and his mom moving in with his mother's family. And then he grows up and becomes an author. There's a lot in between, but that's a little bit of his backstory. And I think it ties a lot into the books he writes.
Yeah. Well, obviously the politics of the day were really important to his own personal family and upbringing. Also the idea of like class and race and kind of the high society way of doing things, which has its shady underbelly. Like all of that would have been stuff that he would have had, some awareness of from an early age.
Yeah.
He seems like such a character. And like when he grows up and he grows into his like authorial presence, like still such a character.
Yeah. And a character that has also 40 mistresses throughout his life.
Yeah. He's basically, I don't think I realized this until I started reading into Dumas. Like I knew that Dumas was a highly celebrated French author in the 19th century, but he was essentially the Shakespeare of his day. Apparently during his most productive decade, which was from 1841 to 1850, he wrote 41 novels, 23 plays, 7 historical works, and a half a dozen travel books. So he was cooking.
Yeah.
He was constantly writing. He was also constantly losing money and then writing to make money.
Fact, which really reminds me of Mark Twain as well, which is like same era. I mean, Mark Twain's a little bit later, but like they were both popular in their own time and both were rich, not rich, right to be rich again, lose it all. Like they reminded me a lot of each other.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had to keep writing because he needed money, which makes a lot of sense. And it also kind of informs, I think, the way that he wrote. Like he didn't stick to one genre. He would bounce around in what he wrote. He would collaborate. He would other people. And it was like whatever could get printed and get him money, but also like he was really good, so he had a lot of notoriety.
Well, and also just like how the Monte Cristo is originally published, like it's serialized from 1844 to 1846 and published as a book in its entirety after that, but it is over 18-month course that these are being released monthly, and that just feels like okay, when's the next paycheck, like when's the next he's trying to stretch that out, and that's why we have such a long book here.
That's part of how the book gets to be so long, is that it's not like he published 1,200 pages all at once, because honestly, like who amongst us reads 1,200 pages all at once? Like obviously we do now, but it would have been a lot more readable, a lot more accessible, and a lot more entertaining in a serialized format. And also, like Kaylin said, that just means that even if he's burning through cash, he's also still making cash
that money
every time a chapter gets published. I thought it was really interesting. I didn't know this, but apparently the Count of Monte Cristo was inspired by a real life true crime story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was inspired by the true life story of Francois Picard, which Dumas found in a book that has a very French name. It's basically police memoirs and history is the book in French from an archive in Paris. It's an 1838 collection of anecdotes from the Parisian police, and in it recalls the story of a man who was imprisoned, escaped, and then kind of set out on his own quest of revenge. So the basic plot points were there, but I just thought it was really interesting to mix this kind of like true crime. Even back then, true crime was pulling in a lot of entertainment and a lot of fanaticism. So to take a very scandalous story and then to extend it into this whole universe of its own, it's really cool.
Well, and it feels inspired by his father. And
sure.
like his father as Edmond and also his father as Edmund's father, like a little bit of both there.
Yeah, or even the Abbey too.
Yes.
There's definitely layers.
And unfortunately, like being a political prisoner was pretty prevalent in that time, or at least fear of being a political prisoner.
Yeah, so the novel is itself, The Count of Monte Cristo, is set in France, Italy, and just the general Mediterranean over the course of like decades. So we have starting in 1815 and then ending in 1839. And the history of that time is very, very important to the story itself. You have Napoleon leaving Elba. You have the 100 days of his return to power, all the way through Waterloo when he's then
deposed again.
Yeah. And then fully exiled.
Waterloo.
Which then leads to the Bourbon Restoration, which is the like royal family coming back, the reign of Louis Philippe. And all this history is super, super important to the storyline, but also important just to like understand what is happening in the moment. You know, like you start off with Edmond getting accused of this crime, and if you don't have that history, you're like, why does that even matter?
Yeah, it is definitely one of those books where it helps to have the historical context, to have at least some understanding of it, because there's a lot of weight, like there's a lot of ambition and greed and social climbing that takes place in the book, and if you don't understand what the landscape of French society vaguely looked like at that time, it's going to be harder to understand a lot of the characters' motivations.
Yeah. I definitely found myself thinking like, wow, I know nothing about French history realistically.
Yeah. Just like when we're watching The Labyrinth and we're like, well, I actually know I'm sorry, Pan's Labyrinth. I know nothing about what happens in Spain during World War II.
Yeah, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely binged a couple podcast episodes because I was like, okay, help me figure out what's going on here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna admit this because I know this is a safe place. I think that, you know, I had a vague shape of like Napoleon in my mind, but I think it wasn't until I started rereading the full Count of Monte Cristo that I realized, oh, Napoleon, he goes out of power, he comes back into power. Like I didn't realize there was Napoleon 2.0.
Yeah.
I did not realize that.
I didn't realize that Napoleon was not French until reading this book and then doing more like digging. Like he's from Corsica, he's Italian.
Yeah. I think I also, because we're taught history so strangely, the fact that this is happening when like America is already like she's here, she's like, it feels like it should be earlier, I think, than Merca.
No, I mean 1839. Sure. That's like antebellum.
Yeah,
we're like about to have the Civil War. Like,
well, there's that old country song that's about the Battle of New Orleans, where it's in 1814 we took a little trip.
Yeah,
and
I know that
I was like, oh, 1814. I know what's happening here. Okay.
Yeah, that was my thought. Like the first time I was exposed to like War and Peace and then Jane Austen, I was like, whoa, this is all happening at the same time.
It's supposed to be happening all at once.
Two bad bitches at the same time.
But indeed it is. Yeah. And the Count of Monte Cristo is also happening in this time.
Yeah. Some rough things are happening for Edmond Dantes.
Yes.
Well, also just to preface, you know, in case you need to be warned, there's going to be spoilers. There's already been spoilers.
Yeah.
If you haven't read this book that was published about 200 years ago. Spoilers.
It does remind me of like when I teach books to my high schoolers that are old, right? Like Macbeth. Okay.
Yeah.
I
thought you meant old high schoolers. I was like, there's only so many ages.
when I teach them old plays or old books, classics, so to speak.
Yeah.
Oftentimes I will like start with spoilers. Like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna kind of tell you the rough outline of this story, and there's always a little chorus that's like, you can spoil this.
Yeah. But that was literally me when we started this because you guys had both read it. I have consumed nothing about the Count of Monte Cristo except for that it's a fun old time.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't tell me anything. I literally have no idea what's happening.
Well, it's like we're trying to like gauge where like what you knew, and the things you were saying, I was like, she knows nothing about this book. She knows literally nothing about what's gonna happen to her.
I probably knew less than what's actually on the back of the book.
Yeah.
But that's beautiful that you got to take that journey. You got to be on that journey.
And you know what? It's also such a detailed text. You're gonna get a lot more knowledge about so many random things if you do read the book, even after listening to this podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, indeed. There's no way that we can cover everything of all the 1,200 pages.
No.
Definitely worth a read, even if we are about to spoil a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So we start in 1815, not 1814. And Edmond Dantes is, a young sailor. He's described as like a round-faced, jovial boy. He's so happy. He loves life. And he just loves his father and Mercedes so much. And he comes back from this trip and there's an opportunity for him. And his life's really going in the right direction.
Yeah. Imagine the sweetest, cherubic 19-year-old boy. And imagine
who's just really smart, good at
hard
everything.
Worker.
Yeah. Everybody loves him.
Yeah.
Just like the best character ever. Like literally like beyond reproach. Practically like angelic. And also everything is going right for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
A beautiful woman loves him and cannot wait to be married to him.
Yeah. He is about to be captain of a ship.
His father dotes on him. Like everything is going right.
Yeah. And then we've got some
jealous bitches.
Yeah.
some jealous bitches enter the room.
Fucking bitches. One of which is a crew member with Edmund, Dangler, whatever we're calling him.
Danglar.
Danglar.
I like Danglar or Dangler. And he's really bitter about this whole captain thing.
Yeah.
So he is, chilling in a pub, writing some pretty nefarious things about Dantes.
Yeah, so he conspires / manipulates another character, Fernand, who is also in love with Mercedes.
His cousin. Yeah.
He's in love with Mercedes as well, but Mercedes is like, she's head over heels, will die for Edmund. Spoiler alert, she doesn't.
But she's a down bitch,
Yeah. So Danglars sees an opportunity to manipulate someone to kind of help him also get what he wants. And he's so upset that Edmund is just succeeding and the owner of the ship just loves him so much. And so he's like, okay, I have some information that may or may not be true, but Fernand, if you would maybe want to use it, I could help you get what you want.
Let me help you, help me help you.
There's nothing, this is nothing for me, but I can see that you're suffering so much. I want to help you. And so that's when they write this note.
Yeah.
With his left hand.
Concealed.
Right. Yeah. Danglars writes a treasonous note with his left hand to conceal the handwriting.
Yeah. And to be clear, it's that Edmond Dantes is it is positioning him as a Bonapartist, which is not good for him at this time because Louis the 18th is back in power currently.
Basically, both Danglars and Fernand are sick with jealousy because everything is so good in Edmund's life. It's just for different reasons. Danglars is jealous of him because of his career success and his jealousy is driven by ambition, whereas Fernand, his jealousy is driven by love, and he's so wrought over the fact that Mercedes is not choosing him.
And Caderousse is just there sick on wine.
Yeah, there's a third man there during this plotting that happened. Carus. And he's hanging out. He's not really actively a part of it, but he's very drunk. It's kind of like Danglars keeps feeding him with alcohol.
He is the master manipulator in this scene.
For sure. You get the kind of impression, or at least I got the impression, that Fernand is kind of like this desperate himbo. Carus is like a drunk who doesn't stop it, but also doesn't participate.
Yeah. And like Carus, like just scenes before, has his own kind of greed with Edmond. It's not as much jealousy as much as like he wants when someone else wants, because he sees he can take something.
Yeah. I mean, he's happy to use Edmond.
Yeah. But he also respects him.
Yeah.
And he does ultimately like care about the community he has.
Yeah.
But
he's an opportunist.
He's a coward. He's also like very cowardly, because he does say while drunk, and Danglars is basically whispering in Fernand's ear what to do. He does say like, why would you do that? That's terrible. You shouldn't do that. That's terrible. Edmond is a good, he's a good guy. He's a good man.
Yeah.
But then when Danglars and Fernand hear that, they're just like, oh, we're just joking. It's just a joke. It's just a joke. Relax. And eventually it becomes very, very obvious that that's not a joke.
Yeah.
So why does Carus not do anything?
Yeah. So then kind of fast forward a little bit. Mercedes and Edmond are literally about to be married. And that is when the police come and arrest him, because the note did get to
the authorities.
The guy in charge. At this time, nobody knows what the heck is going on. Nobody knows why he was arrested. And from there, things move pretty fast. Like, there is no trial. Nobody knows what's going on until after the fact. Like, it's just, he was about to be married that afternoon.
And he's disappeared.
And he's gone that evening.
Yes.
Yeah. I feel like Dumas is really good at creating parallels, too, because that fateful day when Edmond ends up imprisoned, it all starts with an engagement party, because him and Mercedes are about to be married.
Yeah.
Simultaneously, there is another engagement party. Yes. It is Villefort's engagement party that he is called away from because he is a prosecutor in Marseille. So he's called away, and then he ends up being the authority figure, the arm of the court, the arm of the justice system that speaks with Edmond. And I think that their conversation is so interesting because Villefort immediately sees right through Edmond. It's very clear that Villefort takes his job very seriously and considers himself a very good prosecutor and considers himself a very good judge of people's character,
and a very good loyalist to the crown.
Yeah. It's really important that he's like
not a very good Bonapartist is what he does not, or he does not want to be.
He wants to be seen as a loyalist.
Yes.
He wants to be seen as a loyalist while the king is on the throne because he's politically very ambitious.
Yes.
But I just found it so interesting that immediately Villefort is like, oh, Edmond seems pretty innocent.
Yeah.
Like he reads him like a book. He's like, ugh, yeah, this is so crummy. He's almost like, I'm so sorry that this happened to you at your engagement party.
Well, and he's literally like, great, I can go back to tell my fiance I did take it easy.
Yeah.
I didn't have to punish anyone.
Yeah. His fiance doesn't want him to like sentence a man to death on the day that they're supposed to be wedded.
Yeah. Well, and like in this conversation, Dantes is like, I literally have no opinions about anything. I literally just love my Mercedes and my father. Like I don't care about any of this. I don't have enough knowledge about any of this.
I like being a sailor.
Yes.
I like my girl. I like my dad.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm a simple man.
He's so innocent at the beginning of the book. You know, Villefort's literally like, did you stop at the island of Elba where the traitor Napoleon is? And
like, yeah.
Dante's like, yeah. And Villefort's like, why did you do that? And he's like,
my captain
told me to.
Yeah, my captain asked. That was his dying wish.
Yeah.
Of course I'm going to.
Yeah, I'm the first mate. What?
It's just
like not do that?
He doesn't have self-intrigue. He's just being honest.
Yeah.
But then Villefort's like, you know what? But why don't you show me that letter, though, that was like, that your captain gave you? This letter is the potentially incriminating only piece of evidence other than the forged letter that Danglars writes.
Yes.
And Danglars sneakily sees Dante and his ex-captain, because he passed away, sadly, pre the beginning of the book. But Danglars sees the captain give Edmond this letter. Edmond doesn't even know what's in the letter.
No.
He hasn't opened it.
He would never open it.
No, it's not his mail.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good boy.
It's not addressed to him.
Yeah.
But of course, Villefort is like, okay, I totally believe you, but you better let me see that letter. Hands over the letter. Villefort opens the letter, and then everything changes.
Yeah. So this conniving Villefort, who his ultimate goal is just to get places in life. The lady he's marrying, it's everything that he has done has set himself up for success.
Yeah. More power, more money.
Including his
more
name.
Bitches. Yeah.
So in this scene, Villefort is reading this letter and his face just drops. Everything changes.
The color drains.
Yeah.
Because he realizes that this letter is being sent to his father, who is a very, very, very well-known conspirator of Napoleon.
Ride or die for Napoleon.
He's one of the big Bonapartists.
Like killing people for Napoleon.
Yes.
He's the main guy. He's helping basically orchestrate Napoleon's return.
Yes.
And he's like, well, fuck, this is going to ruin my career.
Yeah.
And then
and
a part of him
kind of cares about his
I was going to say, and a
little.
little bit of him is like, my dad might die.
I think it's more of like, this stupid fucking man who is my father. Why do I have to protect him? Why is he doing this to me? Why is he doing this to us?
I mean, yes, but I think some of that is like it's almost like his internal monologue is like, that's what he's kind of supposed to think too.
Yeah.
Like he's supposed to protect his father. He's upset about it, but a lot of it is still just like, you're ruining my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he wants to be distanced from his father's reputation. You know that because he doesn't go by Villefort Noirtier, which is his father's last name. He drops Noirtier, and so that he can create that distance because he is ashamed of his father's beliefs and believes that they will damage his career. But at the same time, like, he doesn't want his dad to just like die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and also like, we learn the king knows who his father. Like, a lot of people know
Everybody
who his
knows.
father is.
Yeah.
But it does. I think it's still meaningful to not use the same name in the exact way that you guys are saying.
I think that it's a one way that he can signal to other people that he is not proud of his father.
We have different beliefs. We are
kind of like disowning him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So unfortunately, this does mean that Dantes has got to go.
Yeah.
But Villefort does not want anything tied to him or his father. So he burns the letter. And now he has nothing that he can present to court to actually have Dantes like prosecuted.
Yeah.
So he has to figure out a way to get rid of Dantes.
Yeah. And he just basically puts him on a boat and sends him away. And at one point, I can't remember who he's speaking to. Morel, I think, is who he's speaking to, where he's just like, some people like have to disappear sometimes, and the paperwork, like, what paperwork? Like, that's just how things have to work. Like,
yeah. Fortunately, the time that he's living in, he is able to have a certain level of power, especially for people who are thought to be Napoleon, like spies, Bonaparte's spies. So he kind of doesn't have to follow all the legal pathways.
Yeah. He does not. And he basically sends Dante, who is innocent, Villefort knows is innocent, everybody knows is innocent. He sends him to French super prison. He sends him to French Alcatraz, the Chateau d'If.
Diff. Chateau d'If.
And by the way, you might think, oh my gosh, wow, a lot has happened.
We're not even a quarter in.
That's literally not even 100 pages into the book.
No.
And then he is in prison.
Yeah.
And he's in prison for a while, and he's not getting a lot of traction with like trying to talk his way out of it.
Because at this point, he still has no idea why he's in prison.
Yes. And he doesn't know for 6 years really what happened to him. And at that point too, he is like on a hunger strike. He's throwing his food out the window so they don't know that he's on a hunger strike, and he's basically like resigned himself that he's just gonna die. Like, that's the move here.
Yeah. I can't remember how quickly, I think it's pretty quick, but he ends up basically in the dungeons of this prison. And he's there for 6 years. And everyone's saying, like, dude, you're going to go mad. Everybody goes crazy. Everybody dies here. And he's like, well, I guess if everybody does it, might as well at this point. I've been here for 6 years.
Yeah. He's pretty hopeless.
Yeah.
And then he hears a scratching in the wall. And he meets his BFF, Faria, who is a man of the world. He
and a man of God.
yes, he is a priest.
First of all,
Yeah.
Abbe Faria is trying to escape. And so over the
Yes.
last however many years, he's been digging tunnels
Strategizing, re-strategizing, strategizing again.
in this dungeon. And that's what Edmund hears.
Yeah, the scratching. And he actually realizes, he's like, oh, the scratching is someone trying to escape.
Yeah.
And that's why he starts eating again, because he's like, oh, maybe there's hope. I can find out what this is.
Yeah.
And he actually starts himself like scratching like painfully, like pebble by pebble out of mortar, scratching to meet basically this other prisoner. He's been like resigned to the fact that he's going to die in this prison cell, and then all of a sudden he's like, wait, I could be doing something. But I it's really funny when him and Abbe Faria finally meet, or Faria is like, fuck, this is your cell? I thought that I was digging to the castle wall. I thought that I was about to read. He was like, oh, I must have miscalculated the angle, you know?
But after they meet, they enter into quite a wholesome relationship.
I mean, they are the only two people that they really are able to talk to, so it's like obviously this is going to be a pretty close relationship, but like it's like a father-son.
But also like Abbe Faria would not have like done what he does with Edmund if Edmund wasn't like this pure of heart little baby angel.
Yes, absolutely. And like I'm pretty sure it's the first time that they really talk to each other is because he tells Edmund his story, and then Edmund's like, well, you want to hear mine? Because like my shit's kind of whack too, even though I'm 19, or well, I guess at this point he's not 19, but
no, he's like 25.
Yeah. He tells him what happens to him, and he's like, well, obviously these people are the ones that are doing this to you, Edmund. Get it through your brain here.
It's actually kind of hilarious. Like, Faria is really, really very smart.
Yes.
He's very learned. And Edmund
committed books to memory, knows many language.
And Edmund is like, it's been years and I still have no clue why I'm even here. Maybe you can help me figure it out.
Yeah. And he's like, no one hates me. No one would gain anything from me.
And Faria's like, what about that guy was in love with your girl?
Yeah. What about that guy who wanted your job?
Yeah.
What about
And then he's like, and who is the prosecutor?
Yeah.
He's like, Villefort Nortier?
Yeah.
That's his dad, bro.
Yeah.
So he kind of blows Dante's mind, and he also blows the case of what happened to Dante wide open.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Dante has a place to channel the hopelessness, the anger, the frustration, the anguish, the grief, everything that he has felt as he has been in prison. He finally has 3 names that he can place those feelings to.
Yeah.
And that's when he's like, I want revenge.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he is still in prison.
Yeah, but this is like his training montage. This is like the
It
80s Rocky on the beach, Rocky in the snow. This is him. He's getting learned. He is developing grudges. I also think he's getting like yoked. Like at one point he's telling him what a strong boy he is.
Well, he's moving a lot of rock.
Oh yeah, they're moving a lot of rock.
They spend the next 8 years planning their next version of escape.
Yes.
And Abbe Faria is teaching Edmund all that he knows.
Yeah.
So like literally teaching him languages, math, science,
potions,
chemistry, like literally any subject on planet Earth. Somehow this guy has got it locked in his noggin.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's like, you know what? If we get out of here, when we get out of here, Edmund, we're going to be pretty well off.
Yeah.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. So you need to know how to like be a gentleman.
Carry yourself. Yeah. He's also like making his linen clothing smooth enough to write on like parchment and creating ink from a formerly or like a boarded up fireplace, like mixed with his blood, I think was the like, or mixed with the wine. But I also think he would write with blood. Like he is so desperate to
he's a genius and he's such an inventor.
Yes.
Like, yeah, he uses a fishbone. Like he's created all these, and that's another
and he has all
thing.
these tools.
He's created all these tools.
Yeah.
So he's like, Edmund's like, how are you doing this? And he's like, what do you mean? I have tools.
Yeah.
And he's like, how'd you make them? What do you mean how did I make them? It's easy. And then he's like, says this crazy thing, and you're like, oh yeah, of course.
Yeah,
anybody would have thought of that.
Of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's easy. You're really smart, and you've been really bored.
Really bored. He's a genius with a lot of time on his hands.
Yes.
I mean, he like literally writes a whole political treatise like while he's in prison before he meets Edmond. So
and the whole thing with him and Edmond learns this early on, like when he's in the prison too, is that everybody thinks he's a madman.
Everybody thinks he's crazy.
Yeah, and he pleads with the guards and is like, if you give me this, or if you let me out, or whatever, I have this fortune. I have this lost fortune that I can get you access to, that is just massive amounts of money. And everyone thinks he's just a crazy person.
Yeah, no one believes him. They're like, okay, yeah, sure, old guy.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, turns out
he's
not crazy.
No. And you finally get all the details of his supposed fortune after he sadly has a seizure. He has like what's akin to like it's a stroke or a seizure?
I think
I heard seizure.
Yes, and like I think it is, but then like it's basically like a stroke. Like he loses the ability to use half of his body.
Yes, he has a traumatic medical episode.
That's a familial plight.
He it's happened to him once before.
Yeah.
And then while he's in prison, it happens a second time. And of course, in the kind of fated way, it's right as him and Edmond are on the cusp of succeeding at their second escape plot.
Edmond is such a little darling still. He's like, well, I'll just carry you out. I'll swim you out.
He's like, I will carry you to the ends of the earth.
Yeah.
And then when that's not a possibility, he's like, well, fine. I'm going to stay with you until you die.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving if you're not leaving.
There's so much love there.
Yeah.
It's honestly like really beautiful and touching. But basically, Faria knows when he has this medical episode that it will happen again and that he won't survive it when it comes again. So because he's now kind of waiting at death's door, he's like, Edmond, I need to tell you something.
Yeah.
I need to give you all the details of where my treasure is. The treasure that, you know, supposedly he's insane for. He shows Edmond this piece of paper that has invisible ink on it. He's like, I threw it in the fire. I thought it was nothing. Words started appearing as it got heated. It turns out it has invisible ink. It is a map. It is a map to a treasure. Where is the treasure?
On the Isle of Monte Cristo.
Exactly. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, wait, that's the title of the book.
The titular island.
And like at first, Edmond doesn't really believe him. He's kind of like,
okay.
He's losing it.
He is like dying.
Maybe
so
he
I
needs some
guess.
rest. Maybe he needs some rest.
Honestly, that pissed me off because I was like, Edmond, up until this point, you have believed every single thing this man has told you, and he's never been wrong.
And it's been 8 years, bro.
Yeah. And also, you don't have enough knowledge to not know this stuff is like the science, the language. And he's just blindly like, yes, sir. Like, I will learn all this from you, sir. Like,
and then he's like, oh, this sounds a little crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
After all this.
But essentially, Faria worked for a family, the Spadas, that were a very wealthy family in Rome that for reasons, political reasons, reasons of rivalry, hid their fortune and
for like 300 years.
For like 300 years. And Faria's employer, who's the last of their lineage, dies and leaves to Faria everything in his library. And this piece of paper that is a map to the hidden fortune is in the library. So Faria's like, so therefore it's mine.
Yeah.
It belongs to me as it was bequeathed to me, and he must have wanted this for me. And he says, I'll share the fortune with you, Edmond. At first, there's still some hope that maybe he might get out. So it's like, I'll share the fortune with you. We will share it together. And then eventually it's, Edmond, I'm going to die here.
This is for you.
This is your inheritance.
You need to take this so fucking seriously.
Yeah. And that's when he's like, but I'm not your son. He's like, you are my son.
Yeah.
Aww.
That was beautiful.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Abbe Faria, he does die.
Yeah.
And fortunately, it does help Edmond escape.
Yeah. The escape of a lifetime, I guess.
Yeah. Edmond is so funny because on the one hand, it's like, wow, you've been being tutored for 8 years by a very, very smart man. And he goes on throughout the rest of the book to plot, to scheme in ways that shows he has learned a lot. He is highly intelligent, and yet he still has moments where it's like,
bro,
you didn't realize that they were going to bury the super ocean prisoners.
The graveyard is the ocean. Like, come on.
Yeah, but I feel like he's been living underground.
It's true.
Literally.
He's been locked up for a long time.
But also, you in the 6 years by yourself, you did once think,
what are they?
They're just throwing us in the ocean.
I don't think Edmond thinks about what happens to his body after.
You know, that's fair.
Yeah.
He doesn't care about that.
No, but he does decide that he will use Faria's unfortunate passing to escape. He swaps places with Faria's body. Faria's body is put by the jailers into a body bag and then left in the cell.
Yeah.
And because Edmond has his super secret passage, he's able to go in. He lovingly puts Faria's body in his bed, tucks him in so that it looks like maybe he's sleeping in bed, goes back to the body bag, puts himself inside,
sews him back up,
sews it up from the inside.
Yeah.
And then he's transported. Like, wouldn't you? I don't know. I
would
like,
be
would
so
you
dead.
Not, how could you not feel the difference between heavy body, live or dead body, live body?
Yeah. Well, he said that he was really, really still, and they did make a comment that he
was heavy.
Man, this whole guy is really heavy.
Yeah. And well, they say like, oh, well, don't you know your bones gain weight every year that you get older or something like that? I was like, that's a crazy thing to believe.
Not great education.
Yeah, they're like, well, he was an old man. His bones are real heavy. Okay.
But they continue walking way further than Edmond expects. And he hears them talking, and then he hears the ocean, and he's like,
oh, and before they take him out, they're like, oh, should we tie it on now? And he's like, oh, no, of course not. That's too much weight.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, we got to go get it. And he's like, I wonder what they're going to go get.
Yeah.
Can you bring the light over?
Yeah. A cannonball.
Yeah. Tied to his legs or his ankles.
Yeah. And when they throw him off the cliff, he goes, ah! Because of course you would.
He thinks he's about to be buried and that he just needs to like stay strong until they walk away so that he can like get himself out of a shallow grave.
Yeah.
And instead he's dropped 40 feet into the ocean
with a cannonball tied to his legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he acts really quick. Like he's stunned for a moment, but he acts fast.
Yeah. And he's got a knife with him, which, you know, if he didn't, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation.
No, it would have ended. There would be no Count of Monte Cristo.
And he was like an incredible, you know, he his whole life he was a sailor and a swimmer, so he is able to like, he's a strong swimmer still even after 14 years in prison.
Yeah.
And he's able to swim away.
Yeah. He gets himself his naked ass onto an island and then decides, because there's a shipwreck that also happens while he's swimming away from the island, and sees a ship that could potentially save the people from the shipwreck. So he makes a quick move, pivots, grabs someone's hat, and then swims back into the ocean.
Well, he grabs part of the shipwreck.
Yes. But still, like he's so physically exerted. Says how physically exerted he is.
Well, he's trying to survive.
Yeah.
You know, like so much adrenaline.
That part is actually kind of genius because he can't exactly give like escaped convict in that moment, you know?
Yes.
He needs some way.
And it's almost, I mean, it's not the beginning because I feel like you start getting it in prison, but it's another moment where you're getting this almost like divine intervention.
Yeah.
Of like what's guiding Dantes throughout the rest of the story. You know, some of these things, like the end of the story would never have happened without Abbe Faria's death, would never have happened, you know, without this random shipwreck. Like there's so many things that it's almost like, well, this is almost too easy. And I feel like he even has those thoughts of like, wow, this is really working out for me.
Yeah. And like as you get further into, it's very much he's just using the puppet strings a little bit. But like all of those things get set off. All of the like what gets him to prison, like, is also what kills Danglars, like, or Danglars doesn't die. Danglars doesn't die?
I wish he did, but no, he doesn't.
But like, what I'm trying to say is that like what sets his trajectory in motion is also what sets everybody else's trajectory in motion.
Yeah.
Like the fate of Edmond himself, but also like what people did and how that results in their own fate.
Yeah. What I was kind of trying to say though is like Faria tells Edmond like basically don't seek this revenge, like it's not good for you. But as soon as he gets out and he kind of starts making these moves, everything just kind of falls into place. Yeah. And so it does almost feel like this divine intervention to help him on this path.
Yeah. The way that I kind of was thinking about it was like Edmond didn't create any dominoes. All of the dominoes either fell into place or already existed or were placed by other people. All Edmond kind of had to do at certain points was just stay alive and occasionally maybe tip a domino.
Breathe a little too hard on a domino.
Yeah, later on for sure. But in this beginning part, like there is a lot of like him thinking on his feet, but there are these moments of just like that boat crashing so he can be like one of those sailors. And then that other boat happened to be going by that he could go on. And he already has these skills and he's able to like go up in these ranks.
Really impress the crew.
And get all these people to trust him. And like he helps himself out, but there are just things that are happening that kind of like keep him on this trajectory.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think that this moment where Edmond gets out of prison and he begins his post-prison life is definitely a huge turning point in the book. Throughout the book, there's themes of providence, fate, karma, good versus evil. But before the moment where Edmond gets out of prison, it does kind of feel a little bit like, wow, all the bad guys are winning.
Yeah.
All the bad guys are winning.
For sure. They're winning for a long time.
Yeah. And it feels so wrong. You're like, wait, this is not supposed to happen. Someone as good as Edmond is not supposed to suffer in this intense way.
Yeah.
But once Edmond gets out of prison, slowly but surely it feels like in sometimes miraculous ways, in sometimes calculated ways, things are righting themselves.
Yeah. Well, like how he gets to the Isle eventually, right? Like he's trying to figure out a way to get there through his travels with this crew. But then they end up having to be there, right? Like,
and that's what I mean. Like he's doing these things to put him in a place where like, okay, I'm now a smuggler, I'm making money, we're gonna see what happens, and he wants to go there but he doesn't have an opportunity, and then randomly that happens, and then he takes that opportunity and is able to look around for it, but then like can't find it, so then he's like, okay, gotta create another opportunity. Like the plan that he's like creating is already starting, but there are just these moments of like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess that's happening right now. Okay, cool, we'll do it.
Pivot, I guess this is happening and we're going to make the best out of it.
Yeah. And I think that a lot of his motivation to continue, like, because at this point, he's not thinking of revenge, really. He's thinking of finding this maybe not real treasure.
Yeah, he still isn't fully letting himself believe that the treasure is real. He kind of is doing what I do sometimes where I'm like, don't get your hopes up about this thing you really want. Don't get your hopes up about this thing you really want.
Yeah, because he's already kind of imagining like what his life would be like if he has all this money.
Yeah.
But he's like, oh, but okay, yeah, it can't be real. There's like no freaking way.
Or if it was real, you know, it's been a really long time. Who's to say it's
somebody
still there?
Stumbled across it.
Yeah. He finds it. It is real. It's like very, very real. And it's a lot of treasure.
Yeah. Those chips fall into place and he is able to finally lay his eyes through both. Yeah. Like Larsen said, his own kind of brilliant calculations and pivotal moments, and also through the fate that it's there and it's where it needs to be. He lays his eyes on the treasure, and we're talking rubies, diamonds, pearls,
gold coins, like an unimaginable amount of wealth.
Well, somebody on Reddit 11 years ago did some calculations, and they posit that the fortune on the Isle of Monte Cristo is between $1 billion and $3.6 billion USD, but that was also in 2011. So
it's way more than that now.
Yeah. Oh, actually, sorry, 11 years ago, not 2011. So 2015, but still
more.
Yeah.
I will say, reading this, because they mention so many different kinds of currency, because we're bit bopping all over the place. I just was like, yeah, money. A
lot of money. A lot of money. A lot more money.
Yeah. But even then, after he finds it, it really is not until he like fully gets back to Marseille and takes stock of what has happened that he decides fully like, no,
what's happening?
It's on.
Yeah,
it's freaking on.
It's on like Donkey Kong.
I feel like sometimes people think, oh, it happens quickly. It doesn't. It's 1,200 pages for a reason.
Yeah,
it doesn't happen quickly in terms of reading length. It also doesn't happen quickly in terms of like time. Like Edmond gets the treasure. He goes and checks on things in Marseille. He learns that his father has died. Mercedes has married Fernand, of all the fucking people.
Yeah,
of course.
Yeah,
and
I think at that moment.
He doesn't know that yet.
I think he just knows that she's gone. She's disappeared.
She's disappeared, yeah. Basically, anybody he knew or anybody he cared about is destitute, dead, or gone.
Yeah. And he buys the entire apartment building that him and his father lived in. and I think another property as well then. So like he's already just like he's blowing some cash.
Yeah, he's already kind of setting things in motion. He is kind of starting to blow cash, but it's also when he realizes or finds out more about what happened to Morel, who was his boss.
Yeah, who was like a father figure, was a very seemingly good person in general.
I would say at the beginning of the novel, I marked a couple points because I'm like, this guy is just, he is so obsessed with money. He's like, whatever disaster may befall an individual, business must not suffer. And you're kind of thinking like, wow, this guy in a way doesn't really care about anyone.
Yeah.
But as the book goes on, you're like, no, he actually cares a lot. He's a really nice guy.
Yeah, he shows up like kind of continually for Edmond while Edmond is imprisoned. I think it's really interesting is that this is kind of where that history piece comes into play. So Edmond goes to prison supposedly for being a Bonapartist and trying to help Napoleon return. Then Napoleon returns and Morel goes to the court on Edmond's behalf, goes back to Villefort and to the prosecutors and says, hey, so Edmond was in prison for being a Bonapartist, but now Napoleon's back in power and we're all supposed to be loyal to him. So like maybe Edmond can be released now?
Yeah, but they're just like, well, that's like, there's a lot of things happening and there's not really like a paper trail. So there'll be like a lot of paperwork and
yeah, and so then he has Morel like write a note.
Yes.
And Villefort's like, oh, let me just tuck this away. It might be useful in a little bit because also Villefort is very connected with the politics. Like he was obviously in this high position when the king was in power, and then he was able to stay in power when Napoleon took over.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, I'm hearing some stirrings. I'm just going to hold on to this and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because he knows that if he does get Edmond out of prison, a lot of his world falls apart. So he's like, I'll take this note
and save it for later.
Tuck it in my little back pocket.
Yeah.
And then indeed, not that much later, Napoleon is defeated and exiled for real, for good. Yeah. And he's like, perfect.
Yeah. So now it looks really bad that Morel interjected on Edmond's behalf to be like, but he's a Bonapartist, so it's fine. Because now it's like, well, that's bad again.
Yes.
Flip-flop, flip-flop.
But for years, he's the only one working to try to get Dantes out. And when
he advocates for him constantly.
When Dantes' father is dying and then ends up dead, like he pays for his funeral, even though that is risky for him because he's
just the connection.
Yeah. He's pretty much the only person who like actually does stick around and continually think about Dantes and wonder like what has happened to him and tries.
And his father unfortunately was like 18 months after.
Like 5 months.
Oh, really? Like, I thought it was more than that for some reason.
I think it was.
But it's like basically from a broken heart, which is so sad.
Yeah.
He dies of starvation.
Yeah, but they say it's from a broken heart. At least somebody does at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really sad. But Morel, he shows up and you might think, oh, good guy, another good guy. Surely Providence will reward him. But when Edmond checks up on him after getting his treasure and returning to Marseille, his business is in a really bad way.
Yeah.
And I don't think we've mentioned this, but he's not Edmond. He is a various cast of characters throughout meeting these, or not characters necessarily, but alter egos.
After leaving Chateau d'If, he is no longer Edmond Dantes. No. He uses different names when he needs to. Doesn't tell people his name when he's like, man, you don't need to know, you know. And then once he does get to this money, he uses that to create these different personas and costumes and whatever so that he can kind of start manipulating people's lives.
Yeah. Starting to just get information and then just completely manipulate entire lives of people. And
he's doing a lot of research, a lot of groundwork, but it is him like actively like, I'm dressed up as this person. I'm dressed up as this person.
Which is so fun. And
it
like
is fun.
There's moments like at the end where he's just like, and then I took off this disguise and then this one and then this one. It's like the SpongeBob episode where they're taking off the masks. Do either of you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay. Maybe some of the listeners will know.
He's got a lot of aliases, and he also makes a lot of other people in the book have aliases.
Yes.
So he'll be like, you're pretending to be this person now. I will say one just overall note about the book is that Dumas and his possible collaborator do a really good job with balancing the tone, because there are these really sad, fucked up things that happen, but then also there's some kooky, very entertaining.
Yes.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah, there's humor.
There's a lot of like little quips. There's lots of times when it is lighthearted. Like the Count of Monte Cristo, Edmond Dantes, like post prison, he is very smart. And like everything he says, like he's perfectly composed, but a lot of times he like uses his brain to make some like cheeky little remark.
And such a character.
There's one scene which we'll talk about later, but he's basically just like, and a murder happens, and like takes these people through this house and are just like, like watching them A, start to sweat, and B, just like being so theatrical about it all.
He's so theatrical.
Very theatrical,
yeah. But he's in Marseille.
Yeah.
He sees Mr. Morel. And Mr. Morel like is basically about to be bankrupt.
Yeah.
He's waiting for the pharaoh to come back. And if it doesn't, he's
it's his last ship.
Like he's lost. It's not that he personally has been a bad businessman. His ships have literally been lost at sea.
Yeah.
And as a importer of goods, that sucks. That's rough for business.
Yeah. And there wasn't like, I don't think like insurance in the way.
Yeah. Well, he has insurance in that he's tied to all these like creditors basically. And so Dantes, as one of his aliases, kind of sets up to help Morel out. And
he's like pretending to be a banker or representative of a bank.
We'll put a pause on this, give you 3 months, figure it out. And then at the end of those 3 months, Morel is like ready to kill himself. He's like, well,
he's doing the math. It's not looking good.
It's better for me to die, and then the rest of my family at least will have pity from everyone else.
Yeah.
And literally, as he's putting the gun to his head, basically,
he's
saved.
Yeah. He's brought his son from afar back, and like all these things. He's preparing to die. Literally, like gun to the head.
Because that's the thing, is like part of the Count of Monte Cristo's like plan. He is so detailed. He's down to like the second to stuff. So he knows that like this is this man's character. He knows that at the end of this time frame I've given him, to the minute, this is most likely what's going to happen. So before that happens, he's like, oh, mysterious wealth just given to you. Everything's been paid off. Here's a giant diamond.
Yeah.
I can also see how like these moments work really well how it was originally released, like having these like super heightened climaxes, and then he comes in and saves.
For sure. It really does feel like you could feel the serialized part of it, but it also to me felt so much like a play, and like different acts, and you're having these people do their like inner dialogue as like a monologue to the crowd or something. It feels very, very theatrical on a lot of levels.
Especially like how like you're saying, it feels like acts, like just in the setting, like you're in Marseille, you're in the prison, you're back in Marseille, like you're in Rome, you're in, like, it is very,
and even down to like scenes, it'll be like you open up a new chapter and it's like you're presented with the scene, and then the scene will close out, and then you're on to a new chapter. Every now and then there's a chapter that like runs into the next chapter, but a lot of times it's just very like
ends.
Yeah. And it does make so much sense when you know that Dumas was writing in so many different genres, because it is part theatrical. Like, it feels like a play. He loved writing plays. It's got novel qualities, but it's also almost got like travelogue qualities with the way that it describes settings and these in-between moments. And one thing about reading it that I found so pleasant, I don't know if it's because of the serialized nature of it, I don't know if it's just because of the theatrical quality of it, but I felt like there was really well-paced peaks and valleys. It wasn't that it was so action-packed that something was happening all the time, but something was happening enough of the time and at the right pacing that I was never not entertained.
It's 1,200 pages, but it's also 1,200 pretty good pace pages.
This happens like after Dantes saves Morel, we have another time jump, and we come back and we're in Rome, but it's about 10 years later. And it's during this part that I did have my first section where I was like, this isn't necessarily dragging, but why am I supposed to be interested about this?
Yeah.
Because in the moment, you're kind of like,
what the fuck
Okay,
is going on?
cool.
Yeah.
Like, you're introduced to new characters. Why does the Count care about them? Like, all this stuff. But it is still pretty masterful because, I mean, way before the end of the book. But by the end of the book, you're like, I get it. Yeah.
I know why we were in Rome.
This was all part of the plan.
Yeah.
Like you said, it's not actually like lagging because it still is very interesting. But I just had these moments where I was like,
I don't know.
how is this playing into the...
Yeah.
But it all comes back.
Yeah.
Like
for
the
sure.
Count is playing 4D chess, you
With
know?
5 people. Like,
Yeah.
5 separate games.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So it has been 23, 24-ish years since he was originally imprisoned.
Mhm.
And he's fully gone from Edmond Dantes, our sweet baby angel, to now being in the embodied kind of character of the Count, along with all of his other many aliases.
Yes.
But the Count he's kind of a character in his own right.
Mhm.
And one thing that I thought was really interesting about the difference between the beginning of the book and where we eventually get to 24 years later is that apparently some of those beginning sections in Marseille where you're still with Edmond Dantes were actually written after Dumas started writing the character of the Count.
That does make sense to me. Like, I kind of feel like you have to get some of like what he's going to do eventually and then work backwards a little bit. That does kind of, I don't know, make sense of how my brain works, I guess.
Yeah. I understand he knows where he's going. He knows where he wants, like, the first character he develops is the Count of Monte Cristo because that is the main portion of the book. That's who we're going to be following.
Yeah.
So I can't understand being like, this is storyboarding. This is who I have. Now, how do I get him there?
Yeah.
I understand that. But it is kind of interesting to think about, like, who did he need to be to become the Count?
Yeah. Who did he start as? In the Penguin Classics edition of the full novel, the introduction is done by Robin Buss, and he has a really interesting quote about this difference between Dantes as a character and the Count as a character. He says, "Where the Count in himself descends at times to the level of melodramatic stage avenger, Dantes is a compelling character, and it's the figure of Edmond Dantes which gives the latter depth and weight." So it's because he starts out as this boy that then the latter Count isn't just a kooky character, but is like a full human that we understand with weight to him.
You have more sympathy for him. Like, I don't think, like, even at the end, he's got some he's just kind of like, well, I've done a lot here. Like, you still feel for him.
Yeah.
And you like him more than Danglars and names that are escaping me, Fernand and
Villefort.
I kept wanting to say Versailles, and I knew that was not correct. Yeah. You feel so much more for Edmond than you do for anybody else.
Yeah. Well, I think it's because, or at least for me, at least for me, at least.
At least.
Danglars, Villefort, Fernand are in their own right bad people. They didn't just do one bad thing to Edmond. They've done bad things since then. They are all very greedy. They would pretty much knock anyone down to get where they need to go, especially Villefort. He's messy.
Yeah. And the Count demonstrates that throughout.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. A lot of people, and I mean, part of the story itself, the Count ultimately feels like he went too far. I don't think so, because he's only using their own actions to hurt them.
Their own vices, their own personalities against them. He's not physically killing or maligning. Well, he's not mostly.
But like, the one that really sets him off is when Edward, that's his name, right? The little kid.
Yes.
Is killed. We're jumping way ahead. But that's what really sets him off, is to be like, oh my God, have I gone too far?
Yes.
He didn't do that. Villefort told his wife, kill yourself so we don't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
So she does, and she kills her son too.
Yeah. Which, like, I think that him being upset with himself just continues to show, like, what
he's
a good person he is. Yeah.
No, I agree.
Well, because underneath the Count there is still Edmond, and Edmond is an intrinsically good person, and nothing in the book would happen the way that it does if it wasn't for the fact that Edmond is an intrinsically good person.
Yeah. And like, the fact that, like, the characters he does choose to, like, take under his wing and save them, they're all the, like, good hearted people.
Yeah, that's kind of when I was speaking earlier about like the turning point of it all, is that whether it be by fate's hand or by Edmund's hand, after he gets the treasure and after he becomes the count, that's when you finally start getting bad things happening to bad people and good things happening to good people.
Yeah.
Morel is saved.
Well, and because Morel is saved, his daughter is able to marry the man that she loves. His son is able to have the career he wants and be introduced to the people he wants.
And be back into society. Because
like,
they were,
karmic justice is starting to get restored bit by bit to the universe after good things did happen for bad people, because before we get all of the unraveling and like we can't possibly tell you, dear listener, all of the ways in which the count orchestrates his revenge, because we would be here forever.
For 1,200 pages.
But what we can say is that he becomes the full-fledged count.
Yes.
It's another 10 years later. He re-enters eventually Parisian society because it's in Paris that all of the men who wronged him are now living. And unfortunately, when you check back up on them, they're all doing pretty well at that point. Danglars is a successful banker and a baron. He's married to a woman named Hermine. Villefort is married to his second wife. He's the chief prosecutor in Paris. Fernand has had a successful military career, is married to Mercedes, and they have a son. And they all are kind of at the upper crust of Paris society. So again, you get this feeling of like, well, that's wrong. Well, things shouldn't have turned out so well for them.
And especially because like I said, what they did to Edmond is not the only bad
That's not the only bad shit they did.
Yeah, they did so much to get to the point that they're at.
And it's their own, as Larsen and Kaylin were kind of already saying, once you get into the nitty gritty of it, it's actually their own bad shit and evil doings that undo them in the end. Like, for instance, Fernand, when he was on one of his military campaigns, he betrayed a Greek military leader, Ali Pasha, who was like beloved to the French, and killed him for his own gain. And so that comes back to haunt him. Villefort has his own actions that come back to haunt him. He has an affair.
Oh, what do you mean, trying to bury a baby?
The infanticide of it all. There's a lot of marriages. There's also
a lot of affairs.
Yes.
There's much intrigue occurring here, even without the count's intervention. But Hermine, Danglars' wife, and Villefort, they have an affair. Hermine gets pregnant. Villefort has to take care of that. So she has the baby. He takes the baby away. He tells her the baby dies. And instead, the baby is alive and is healthy. He puts the baby in a box. He buries the box with the baby alive inside. Evil.
And
evil man.
Because of other wrongdoings of his, a man who he's wronged comes and stabs his ass. Which, good on him.
It takes the babies.
Yeah, takes the baby, gives it to an orphanage, and then his widowed sister-in-law comes, gets baby, they raise baby psychopath.
Baby is related to Villefort.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to say. It's like the nature versus nurture, right?
There's a lot that I feel like in my head, the Count shows up to Paris, which a lot of this is orchestrated before.
Yeah.
But in my head, the Count shows up and he's like, wow, this is going to be too easy.
He shows up when it's time to step in the octagon.
He has so many things going on, and I feel like he gets there and he's just like, well, I didn't have to do half this work. I really didn't have to do some of this.
He shows up in Paris and he's like, wait, I'm already at checkmate.
He could have literally been like, Lady Whistledown.
The scandal sheets would go crazy.
Instead, he learned how to speak Chinese and spent a decade traveling the world and gaining all this stuff. He bettered himself.
Yes. Who doesn't want to travel the world?
Yeah. While he was doing all of his legwork for his giant revenge plot, he was gaining knowledge and friendship. We don't see him for 10 years, and he's in that time, he's laying a lot of groundwork. But I did have this thought of he shows up and it's almost too easy.
Well, it turns out that fucked up people continue to do fucked up things. And they don't stop with this one bad thing. These are, if Edmond is an inherently good person, Villefort and Danglars and Fernand, they are inherently bad people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it really helps that they all have kids around the same age. They all want to fuck each other or not fuck each other.
Well, the kids are really interesting because I did kind of like, I low-key had a little bit of like deja vu
With
to
Wuthering
Wuthering
Heights?
Heights.
Yes.
Where I was like, oh, there's now a second generation.
Yes. I also was like, he's giving Heathcliff of like his revenge plot, but also like Villefort's wife, the second wife, who's trying to murder people.
Heloise.
I was also thinking she's giving Heathcliff, trying to get the money flowing in the right direction. Yeah.
No, I had the same thought. I was like, this is
second gen.
This is very Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
Most of the main cast of characters, except for Edmond, have children now, and those children become instrumental pawns and figures in the way that things unfold.
Yeah.
You have Valentine, who's Villefort's daughter with his first wife.
The one who's set to actually inherit everything.
Yeah. Yes, she is set to inherit the Villefort fortune, and she is actually in love with Maximilian, who is Morel's son. And then you have...
But unfortunately, she is engaged to...
Franz.
Yeah, Franz.
Franz is the best friend of Albert. Which is Fernand and Mercedes' son. So Albert and Franz are besties. Franz is the son of a guy who died back when Napoleon was still around. It was
which comes back.
An important political figure.
Yeah. And actually, Villefort's father, you get the story in the beginning, and then you get the story at the end. But Villefort's father is the one who assassinates... allegedly assassinates this guy because he's trying to protect Napoleon, all this stuff. But that's Franz.
And then Albert, like we mentioned, is Mercedes and Fernand's son, and he is engaged to Eugenie, who is Danglars' daughter, and who is also a lesbian queen.
Yeah.
Definitely lesbian. Happy Pride.
So there's relationships that the children want, and there's relationships that the children don't want.
That are orchestrated by their manipulative, greedy parents.
For like social advantage.
Yeah. Then the Count comes into town.
Comes strolling in.
Gonna give it to you.
He buys the country house where the
affair took
That's
place.
hilarious. No, that's actually hilarious.
Yes.
That the house where Villefort forced Hermione to give birth to their psychopath illegitimate son, who Villefort thinks that he buries alive and kills. The house where all of that dark infanticide shit went down, he buys it, and then he invites them over.
And, and then literally it's just like,
I heard about this story.
Let's go on a tour of the house.
Oh my god, I heard it.
There was a murder in this room. Do you see the blood?
I wanted to keep this room exactly as it was
because of the crazy story.
Yeah. And I don't think they call it musty, but they do give it. He's like, it was stagnant compared to the rest of the house. And then they're like, go outside. He's like, and this is where
the body was buried.
Yeah, this is where the body was buried. My gardeners, they found the box, but the box was empty.
Yes. Dun, dun, dun.
And like Hermione is there, and she
passes out.
Just like, get the fuck out. Like,
yeah, it's drama.
It's masterful.
It's so drama.
It's telenovela.
Yeah, that part is literally giving telenovela.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
Yeah,
but he does a lot of stunts like that just
like,
for the giggles.
He's giving messy, but he's not messy at all.
Oh,
like,
I
mean, he didn't do the infanticide.
Yeah. It's so well orchestrated.
Yeah, he's cleany.
He sees Villefort's his new wife, and he reads immediately, like, you know, her potential interest in getting more wealth and inheritance for her son, and he's just like, oh yeah, like I happen to be like really knowledgeable about poisons.
Yes.
I can tell you all about poisons.
Yes.
And she's way too excited about that.
She's like, wow.
Him saving the son, being like, she is staring at my poisons. Note that for later. There's a lot of times where he's just observing and just like, that's interesting. Can't really think about that right now, but I definitely will be later.
And in the end, all of these different threads that he's weaving, they do pretty much come together.
Yeah.
So we know that Fernand killed that guy, Ali Pasha. That's his big dark secret.
Yeah. The Count basically is like, don't you want to know about who's marrying into your family, sir? Don't you want to know how they got that money? and then he finds out and then writes a little article about it in the paper.
Yeah, and he also has Haiti, who is he calls her his ward. Deep sigh for a reason that I'll talk about in a second. But Haiti is Ali Pasha's daughter, and he basically brings Haiti into his household so that she can eventually give witness testimony about the fact that Fernand betrayed Ali Pasha, and it gets out to the press. It destroys his reputation. Basically, he is in ruins because his reputation is dismantled, right?
Yeah.
Over this. And in that way, Haiti is really useful to the Count.
Yeah. Also to have sex with.
He isn't asking for it. That's not his intention first.
I feel complicated about Haiti and the Count's relationship.
I just wish that he would have written her to be a little bit older.
Yeah, for sure. But at the same time, I'm like, well, this would have been very normal for the time. That doesn't make it right.
Well, 42 and 18.
Yeah, and we were talking about this a little bit before, but like if she was 15 when it happens, it doesn't like when her father dies, it doesn't change the story that much.
Yeah.
And it makes her more age appropriate for the Count.
Yeah.
Also makes her testimony more reliable.
Oh, yeah. A 5-year-old, or a 5-year-old's memory, I guess.
Yeah.
So,
but
anyways.
Yeah.
After Fernand's reputation is destroyed, it's not exactly the end of it. His son, Albert, challenges the Count to a duel because he is worried about his family's honor. And he also does not know all of the things that his father has done. Mercedes intercedes on Albert's behalf and basically, begs Dantes for...
Well, because she reveals that she actually did know who he was the whole time.
Yeah.
She just didn't want to say anything.
She's the only... This is so crazy. She's the only one who recognizes him.
Yeah.
Which...
Young love.
I think is believable in some ways that she would be the one to recognize him. But it is a little surprising that, like, nobody else did. But he is described as looking, like, eerily different.
Yeah. Well, and, like, men aren't super observant.
That is very true. Very true.
And he says, like, he's most worried about seeing Danglars or whatever for the first time because they spent so much time on a ship together.
Yeah.
He's like, that was actually pretty easy. So,
yeah. In that meeting, Mercedes is like, you have to save my son. Like, don't do this. And tells him that, I've known who you are, yada, yada, yada. And he's like, okay, yeah. And then he leaves. And then she's like, wait, that means that you're going to die.
Yeah.
If you're not going to shoot my son, that means you're going to die. So then she goes and gets Albert and is like, this is everything that's actually happened.
And she tells Albert the whole deal so that Albert knows that the dishonor is all on his father and that the right thing to do is not to duel the Count. And he apologizes.
Yeah, he doesn't duel. He apologizes. And him and Mercedes like disown his father and basically leave.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Fernand
kills himself.
Yeah. Which,
one down, two to go.
And basically
another one bites the dust.
Basically, that's how the Count goes about it. He's like, okay, on to the next.
Yeah.
But it is important to note, even though he is a clear orchestrator, there's no blood on his hands.
Yeah, he's very hands off. He just says, like, this is the crime he committed. Here's a witness.
Yeah. This is the true crime he committed, and there are witnesses.
He was prepared to die for Mercedes' son.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny how, like, as Mercedes asked one thing of him, he was like, yeah,
sure. You got it. Yeah. You got it, girl.
Which is kind of crazy. Like, he's lived the last 10 years putting all the pieces into place, and he would have died for Mercedes' one request without seeing the other two get their justice.
Yeah. But at that point, he's got things in motion too already. Like,
he trusts it'll happen.
Yeah. Things have worked out so far. Sort of.
And then the next.
Next. Villefort, we already know about his big bad demons in his closet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also we know that his wife is very interested in poison.
Yeah.
His wife is very interested in poison because she wants Edouard, her young son with Villefort, to receive all of the inheritance that Villefort's family has to offer in her way is Valentine.
Yeah. Well, she's already killed a set of grandparents and is actively poisoning Valentine.
Yes.
And the Count of Monte Cristo comes from the darkness of the corner of her room, and it's like, someone's poisoning you, girl.
Yeah. In the book, she, Heloise, is killing off anybody who could have money so that it's all starts to funnel to her son. And then she has to get through Valentine. And then the Count intercedes and offers like an anecdote just to kind of stave it off.
Isn't like Maximilian like, I'm worried about her safety, about her life. And because the Count loves that boy, he's like, yeah, I'll go save her.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually the thing that saves Valentine is the fact that Morel's son is in love with her.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and actually, I think in that moment is when he's like, you gotta trust me. And if you wake up in a tomb, you wake up in a tomb. And then she you can't see my air quote, listener, but she dies.
She dies.
She Juliet.
Which, I say that's the Romeo and Juliet moment.
And that's good because you won't keep poisoning a dead girl.
Yes.
But Villefort finds out about his wife's poisoning patterns.
Yeah.
And as we already mentioned, he is about to head off to a big trial. And as he was to head off to the big trial, he says to Heloise, well, you have two options. Either, no, he says no one is exempt from the law, essentially. Either you're going to go through a public trial with all the shame attached to it, or
kill yourself.
You're going to kill yourself.
Yeah.
And you're going to be dead when I come back, and this will be taken care of.
And then he goes to work.
Yes.
Yeah. And then he goes to trial. And whose trial does he go to?
Yeah. So Benedetto is the kid that was saved from the box.
Yeah.
He doesn't die.
He's the psychopath.
He gets sent to the orphanage. He then is raised by another family. Turns out he's crazy. He is like a psychopath and like joins all these gangs and stuff. Murders his stepmom.
Yeah. Lights are on fire.
Bad character.
Yeah. But he has a part to play.
Yeah. And he is on trial now. Villefort does not know that is his son. He is just showing up in the role of chief prosecutor.
And he's excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
he loves what he does.
I'm going to put a bad guy away today, you know? And in the trial, it is revealed to everyone that, wait. The chief prosecutor is the accused son. And it all comes out.
Father.
Sorry, you're right.
I was like, what?
Sins of the father, sins
like,
of
hold
the son. So many parents, so many children.
Yes.
So many affair partners. It all comes out very much echoing Fernand's public humiliation and the smearing of his reputation. Villefort goes home after this catastrophic thing. He recuses himself from the trial, and he goes home and he finds Heloise has poisoned herself and has also poisoned their young son, Edouard. So he is like, he's in shambles.
And again, I mean, the Count didn't do that.
No,
he did that.
And he
didn't want the kid to die.
No.
He feels genuinely remorseful and very bad about the fact that
he tries
son dies.
He tries to save him.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Yeah, he's like, I've gone too far. Like, it's
the first moment where he's really like, oh,
there's consequences I did not expect or foresee, did not want.
Yeah.
I did not want that chess piece to move that way.
Yeah. Which unfortunately means Danglars, I think, doesn't get the justice he fully deserves.
I felt the same way. I was like, okay, yes, be merciful. No, not to him.
Yeah.
I think with Danglars is that no matter what, he's unhappy. And I think that's kind of the punishment that the Count kind of realizes is enough punishment is just him living with himself. But I do kind of feel like he also should have murdered him.
Well, I will say, like, throughout the book, he does kind of say, like, basically that killing them is not enough.
Yeah.
Like, that's not equivalent to the pain that he has suffered.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the point isn't necessarily to kill them or have them be killed or whatever. That's not really the point.
Yeah.
He wants their lives to implode.
Yeah.
And that does happen.
Yeah.
But he went a little bit soft on the number 3.
But it was fun, you know, like kidnapping him and then charging him astronomical amounts for really shitty food.
That's fun.
And
it
running
is fun.
the entire, because Danglars' whole thing, like, he is really struggling financially right now too. He's been set up for some bad investments by or bad financial decisions, I guess, by the Count. But yeah, steals the hospital money, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's 6 million francs, and by the time he leaves, he only has 500,000 because he wanted moldy bread, of course. He was hungry.
He's being extorted. Yeah, he's
by
being
Vampa, right?
Yes. Yeah.
basically a gang leader. He's being put through some monetary ringers, and ultimately the Count decides to let Danglars live and let him leave France with a little pocket change and go on with his miserable life. It's really interesting to think about the levels of comeuppets of all the characters. Like, I personally thought Danglars got off soft. I was like, but wait, he's literally the instigator.
Yeah.
He literally is the one who initially has the idea to write the letter.
Yeah.
Places it into Himbo Fernand's hands.
Yeah.
Yes.
What pissed me off too earlier in the book is like Danglars does all of that, ruins Edmond's life, and then literally just a few years go by and he's like, I don't really want to be a sailor anymore.
Yeah, he doesn't even want to be in the shipping business.
I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
I had the same. I was like, you literally, you damned this man.
You wanted to be a
put
captain
this man
so bad.
in hell, and you're like, well, I don't really want to do it. No, what a little bitch.
I felt like, for some reason, and maybe this was just me reading it this way, but I felt like the Count's desire for vengeance against like Villefort was especially fervent, and maybe that's because Villefort is the one who was supposed to be like, who saw his innocence and was supposed to be justice, right? He is supposed to be literally and symbolically the arm of justice, and he's corrupt.
Yes.
Right?
He's very corrupt. And honestly, it's one action by Fernand and Danglars that dooms Edmond, but it's multiple actions on Villefort's part.
Yeah.
Well, and
I mean, like, he has multiple times where he could have corrected something.
And he over and over and over again chooses to screw Edmond over.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, so I do get that. Yeah, I mean, in the end, it goes exactly as one could hope it would go, in that bad things happen to bad people and good things happen to good people.
Yeah.
Valentine is only fake dead.
Yeah.
She comes back to life. She gets to go off and be happy with Maximilian.
Count gives him some money.
Yeah.
With the fortune, right? Or a lot of the
Part
fortune.
of the fortune,
Yeah, they get some money. I felt like at the end, Maximilian and Valentine were getting to live the life that Mercedes and Edmond
could have lived.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
for sure.
These two young people, happy in love, successful. Finally, everything is going right. Eugenie, she gets
having a lesbian love affair.
She doesn't have to marry Albert.
Yeah, she gets to run off and be happy with her lesbian lover. And Albert, he gets to leave with his mother and like makes his own merit in the world, basically. So things turn out okay for the kids, with the exception of Edouard. But again, that's like his mother's doing. And at the end, the Count, Edmond, does seemingly find some peace. He kind of literally sails off into the sunset with Haiti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the ending is also kind of giving Wuthering Heights, where like the kids are kind of getting out. They're breaking the generational curse
cycle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is like, I think probably some people's issue with the ending is like, I'm sure some people wanted him to end up with Mercedes. And I feel like the whole time I was like, don't.
It's been so long.
She's a fake ass bitch. Don't do that. And like, I know their love was real, but it was like they were 19.
I mean, she didn't wait.
She didn't wait long at all. She didn't wait long at all.
No.
In the book, she didn't wait long at all. But I stand by, Haiti needed to be older.
Yeah.
Yes.
I felt
agree.
a little weird about Haiti and Edmond ending up together just because of the age gap and also the power imbalance. Like,
she was a slave.
Yeah.
Like,
he plucks her out of
He should have ended
enslavement.
up with Jacobo.
That would have been cute.
Yeah.
they had such a bromance. But I did kind of see how in Edmund's romantic relationships there was supposed to be some juxtaposition between like past and future. Like he can't end up with Mercedes because she's too much a reminder of this super painful past.
If that happened, that would have never worked.
No.
Actually.
No. And Haiti gets to represent like a future that he can move towards, a fresh start.
Well, and she gets a fresh start too.
Yeah. And there does need to be some hope for the future. The last line of the book is, all human wisdom is contained in these two words, wait and hope.
Yeah. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah.
And like encompasses the entire book.
Because there's a lot of waiting.
There's a lot of hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so true.
It is such a phenomenally written book. It's so beautiful. It like really sucks you in. However, I don't know if you need to read the unabridged version.
Yeah.
It's so long. You can definitely get the themes and the feelings just through reading the abridged copy. And I would even say, like, it's so intense. I'm looking at the big 1200 tome.
My book broke while I was reading it because it's so
The
big.
spine cannot support its weight.
My pages were falling out.
Yeah.
It needs a boob reduction.
It does.
It's intimidating to look at. And I feel like there's probably been so many people who have been turned off from reading this classic piece of literature because of the size.
I was. Because, I mean, just all of his books in general. I would have been like, do I really want to read this old French guy's stuff? You do. He's such a good writer.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe like just for shits and giggles, read the unabridged one time.
If you two have a podcast.
But realistically, like I mean, I have not read the abridged version, but like I don't know if you need to read the full.
No, and I didn't feel, because we read the abridged version in high school, and I did not feel like I got more of the story. Like, you get more details, but I don't feel like there was anything where I was like, oh, I didn't even know that like it's just added details to the core of the plot that doesn't really, like, it is fun to read. He's a good writer, but like you can just completely get rid of it, and the abridged version works perfectly.
I mean, I remember when I read the abridged version in high school, I was sat.
Oh yeah,
you know, like I read it got to the end and I was like,
I'm pretty sure
that
my
was so
procrastination made me read it in one day, but I was cruising through that guy.
So definitely, like, at the very least, would recommend reading that abridged version. It's just like such a this is gonna sound maybe kind of dumb to say, but stay with me. It's such like a human story.
It is, for sure.
It just captures something very elemental about humanity and the experience of good versus evil, the experience of wanting justice, wanting revenge, wanting vengeance. What are all the different shades of those feelings and emotions?
And just like, can people change?
Yeah.
Some do, some don't. Some sort of do, but the core is still there.
Yeah.
And I also think that like he wrote a book that people wanted. Like, I feel like sometimes you read a book like this and you have this like revenge story, and then you get to the end and now that person needs to be punished because they're turned bad. And you don't get that.
No.
Like you still get a relatively happy-ish ending. Like it feels complete
and just.
Yeah. It doesn't, you don't leave it being like, or I didn't at least leave it being like, well, now I'm pissed off.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, it is a satisfying tale, for sure.
To bring it back to Wuthering Heights, he's not a Heathcliff.
Yeah,
like he's not just a horrible man after what happened to him. He's still the sweet loving boy of Edmond Dantes.
Yeah, I mean, his character endures, right?
Yeah.
It's just really interesting.
Yeah.
And so you have this good balance between people are who they are, and also people can break cycles and people can evolve, and you see that in the children. You see the way that like the sins of the father kind of dictate so many of the children's lives, but then there are kids who are able to get out from under it. And similarly, you see how the good deeds of a father can lead to the good deeds of a son. It's very like poetic justice, like is such a good way to put it.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's really good. And as someone who, like I said earlier, literally knew nothing about it going in other than like I knew at some point he goes to prison and it's a revenge story, so he's got to get out.
Yeah.
That's all I knew. I was really like, I wasn't expecting that. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I like where this is going.
Yeah.
Like, it is a really engaging, interesting, fun read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want a more detailed summary and you still don't want to commit to the 600-page abridged version, Fictional does a really great basically just summary, not a lot of analysis, that is like a 6-part series. So it still is less of a time commitment than listening or reading or listening to the audiobook or reading the book. But it really gives you a really good representation of the book.
Yeah, there is a lot about the Count of Monte Cristo that is out there, in part because of how grand it is. And if you feel like in listening to just our 1 hour plus episode that we were jumping around or that we like it felt like there was a lot of ground covered but not in a lot of depth, just know We know that.
We
That is
know.
that is not indicative of us. That is indicative of the book.
Yes.
It is so sweeping, so ginormous. So there's definitely going to be, for however much you want to dive into Monte Cristo, there's something out there. If you just want to listen to this episode and go on your way, thank you so much for being here. If you want a little bit more, you can go listen to, like something like a 6-parter.
Yeah.
If you want a little bit more, you could read the abridged. If you want to go full whole hog, read that 1,200-page book, baby.
Yeah.
But that is definitely to say there's still more in the future that we may have to say about the Count of Monte Cristo. It might not be the last you hear of it. You know how much we love to talk about adaptations. There's been at least 29 Count of Monte Cristo movies. So we're scratching the surface. There's a wealth of Count out there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right, roomies. Thank you so much for listening.
We hope you'll keep reading the room with us.
So keep checking back for more episodes every Monday and Thursday that dive into the spaces where literature, media, and culture meet.
Please reach out to us at readtheroom@gmail.com for topic, feedback, and suggestions, and follow us on YouTube.
Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at readtheroom_culture club for the most up-to-date podcast information.
If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a 5-star review wherever you listen.
And remember to take up space in whatever room you're in, especially if you're Shawshanking yourself out of an island prison. Bye!